more than 3,000 sandals. First, the shoes go through a thorough hand wash using water and detergent.
We live in a very hot climate. It takes probably 2 to 3 hours for them to dry, and then our artists will come to pick them and use them to make the sculptures.
For small and medium sculptures, workers die-cut the flip-flops into templates. Then use a non-toxic glue to bind the shoes together.
Remember, we're using a tiny flip-flop, so you have to build up before you're able to carve down. Then our artists will carve them out into a finished product.
The company has around 90 employees. Many of their artists used to make traditional Kenyan wood carvings. But that kind of work has dwindled since the early 2000s when Kenya scaled back logging, which made raw materials harder to come by.
When I used to do woodworking, I never thought of destruction of environment.
These artists say working with a softer material isn't too different from working with wood. The knives and sanding tools are the same, but you do get fewer splinters.
The end product will be a crab. It takes almost 2 hours to complete a piece.
For larger pieces, artists repurpose old insulation from shipping containers as a base and cover them with flip-flops.
And that's why with the bigger sculptures, you'll notice that they have a contour look, while with the smaller ones, there's a stripy look.
Nearly every part of the process is done by hand, and it can take up to 3 months to complete some of the larger pieces.
The only time we use a machinery is when we come here to sand. So after they're done carving with a knife, they'll come here and sit down and use these sanding machines to smoothen the sculptures. I'm gonna walk out of here because it's too noisy.
The company keeps a stock of marine animals, like turtles and whales, in keeping with the clean ocean theme. There's also safari-inspired carvings, like elephants and giraffes, which are the best sellers.
People say that they love them because of their twisted necks, and they also have beautiful eyelashes.
The sandal shavings get repurposed.
We have a shredder in the back that shreds them into smaller pieces like this. And from here, we're able to make mattresses that we donate to a refugee program in northern Kenya.
Next comes a quality control check.
The lady will make sure that, the elephant has 2 ears, 2 eyes, 1 tail. If anything is not right, it's returned back to the artist where they will fix it.
Then the statues are washed one more time before being shipped to their destinations.
We intend that they are not able to dive down into the ocean because of that light material in their stomach.
Julie Church, the conservationist who founded Ocean Soul, got inspired after a visit to the Kenyan coastline in 1997.
She noticed that a lot of kids were making toys out of discarded flip-flops, and from there she got an idea that she could actually replicate the same model.
Now the team collects and carves more than 700,000 flip-flops a year. And the Pope himself was presented with an elephant carving when he visited Kenya in 2015.
So this is the gift that I hope will accompany you on your very important journey through life.
Joe and his artists aren't the only ones who've noticed the world's massive flip-flop problem. Firms big and small have introduced flip-flops made from ocean plastic, and even flip-flops made from algae that are 100% biodegradable. The company sells about a third of the pieces to shops, museums, aquariums, and zoos around the world. They're also sold online, in a store in Northeast Florida, and in gift shops around Nairobi.
We saw that there was a niche and there was business to be made, and that's how we started it.
We had a rhino the same size as this lion, and it was going for 43,200.
I'm looking for antelopes and maybe zebras to take to my friends.
Did you know it's from garbage?
No, I had no idea about that, but they are so beautiful.
But the combination of COVID and the war in Ukraine has brought on new challenges.
Our hardest duty right now is actually getting our stuff from Kenya to abroad. The supply chain has been really messed up.
The company told us their shipping costs have nearly tripled. and things take about 4 times as long to get where they're going. Occasionally, Ocean Soul takes on special projects.
In 2019, we made a life-size car for a dealership in Alabama, United States. So that's the biggest piece we've ever made. We used 4,500 flip-flops, and that project took us about 3 to 4 months to complete. There we go!
Joe wishes he didn't have so much material to work with. Flip-flop waste is a global problem.
We have received numerous inquiries from India, Indonesia, Brazil. They have the same problem. They've asked us, when can we come and set up shop in their countries?
But the Ocean Soul model might present the most effective use of flip-flop waste.
The foam material for forming the flip-flop is an irreversible process. When a company comes up with a way of using the flip-flop, the whole piece as it is, it's a big advantage.
Until they run out of material, artists like David will continue turning trash into treasure, one shoe at a time.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the work we do, because when we recycle the flip-flops, we save the environment, and also people admire what we make.
Shipping costs have nearly tripled, and things take about 4 times as long to get where they're going. Occasionally, Ocean Soul takes on special projects.
In 2019, we made a life-size car for a dealership in Alabama, United States. So that's the biggest piece we've ever made. We used 4,500 flip-flops, and that project took us about 3 to 4 months to complete. There we go!
Joe wishes he didn't have so much material to work with. Flip-flop waste is a global problem.
We have received numerous inquiries from India, Indonesia, Brazil. They have the same problem. They've asked us, when can we come and set up shop in their countries?
But the Ocean Soul model might present the most effective use of flip-flop waste.
The foam material for forming the flip-flop is an irreversible process. When a company comes up with a way of using the flip-flop, the whole piece as it is, it's a big advantage.
Until they run out of material, artists like David will continue turning trash into treasure, one shoe at a time.
Yeah, I'm very proud of the work we do, because when we recycle the flip-flops, we save the environment, and also people admire what we make.
My name is Adejoke Lasisi. I'm the founder and creative director of Planet 3R. Planet 3R is a social enterprise that is dedicated to converting textile and plastic waste into eco-friendly products. I realize that many people are already doing things in the environmental sector, but I noticed that they neglect the pure water sachet a lot. And when you look at it, in a day, some people drink like 10 of it in a day, and they just throw it down like that. I now thought of it that how can we complement the existing solution? How can we use it to make sure that this waste is no longer there, at the same time create opportunity from converting those wastes into items?
I work at Planet 3R. I'm the head of the weaving department. I came here as a weaver to learn how to weave. Then I was introduced into how to convert this waste into weaving.
Mo gbọ́ tí nǹkan inform mi nípa Planet 3R, but wọ́n dẹ̀ inform mi. So ẹni yẹn ṣàmùmọ̀ àǹtí Jọkẹ́, but wọ́n mú mi sí Sayọ́pẹ́sà, wọ́n train mi.
We've also been able to employ women and girls. Also, we've sensitized the need of having a clean environment to over 6,000 students and communities across Oyo State, Nigeria.
The impact she's making, because people see pure water sachet as irrelevant. I'm done with my water, I bought it 20 naira and I've thrown it away. And then when they see the bag, they see the product of the Planet 3R, they're like, you mean that sachet that you're just about to throw away can become this good. I mean, it's phenomenal.
This is Amororo Kitchenette. So we are selling food here. Planet 3 is in our neighborhood here. I dispose the pure water nylon to them every week.
We've been trying to do this. We are making sure that nobody is left behind. Even we want to make sure that we catch them young, especially the advocacy part, so that they are conscious of the environment.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's session, the opening ceremony for RecycleUp, a groundbreaking initiative brought to you by a powerful partnership between ADEF Africa and the Sustainable Development Solutions Network, SDSN, which is proudly supported by recyclers. RecycleUp is not just an initiative, it is a commitment to change. It is a promise to our planet. It is also an invitation to innovation. And our mission is to empower and nurture environmentally conscious innovators and entrepreneurs, equipping them with the knowledge, resources, and support that they need to not just only address Nigeria's waste problem, but also to catalyze the transition towards a circular economy. But before we delve into the art of this event, I'd like to take a moment to familiarize everyone with the guidelines for today's virtual session and provide an overview of our agenda. First things, please keep your microphones muted during the presentation so as to minimize background noise. Also, utilize the chat feature for questions and comments. And if you want to speak, if you want to ask any questions, you have to please raise your hands. Okay, I'll introduce myself. I am Ololade Adege, and I am truly honored to be your moderator for this wonderful occasion. And I must say, it is a privilege to be in the company of such brilliant minds and dedicated individuals who are joining us today. We have an impressive lineup of speakers for today, and we are super excited to hear from you both as we kickstart this event on a high note. So I'll start by introducing our distinguished guest speaker, Dr. Natalie Benish, who is a co-founder, Circular Economy Innovation Partnership, Lagos, Nigeria. And she will share her insights, experiences, and visions for a sustainable future and a circular economy. Our passion for creating a positive impact on the environment has not only earned our recognition, but has also inspired countless individuals and organizations to join the circular economy movement towards a more sustainable future. So right about now, I invite Dr. Natalie Benish to share her insight and wisdom with us. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Natalie Benish. Dr. Natalie, let's have you now. Good morning, Dr. Natalie.
Hi everyone. It's really great to be here, and it's amazing to see so many people dialed into this call. I think that just gives extra motivation to organizations like ours to see that there's a community of young youth and young professionals that are interested in sustainable development topics and interested in innovation. I actually did prepare a couple of slides to talk today, so I'm just going to share them. So just one moment. Okay, and I'm not going to turn it onto slideshow because I have some links that I'll copy out. I don't think the links work in video, so I'll just go through them today. So I thought because this is an initiative focused on innovation, to maybe just talk a little bit about innovation. First, just a background about myself. I run a small organization called Circular Economy Innovation Partnership, and we're effectively an ecosystem building organization that's focused on building circular business and investment opportunity across Nigeria. So it's really, as I said, again, it's really, really exciting to be in a session like this where that's effectively the focus. So, but what I wanted to talk about was really just to ask how we should even think about innovation when we're thinking about circular economy. And maybe if I could just ask you to type into the chat some ways that you yourselves are thinking about it right now. How does anyone in this call or in this group think about innovation? Doing things in a creative way. Yeah, I think that's one way. Bringing new things. Yep. Creating new ideas. Definitely. Creating something iconic from waste. Thinking out of the box. Bringing development. Indeed. I think it's all of those. It is definitely all of those things. But when we think about, I think specifically innovation in terms of, because we're a business-focused organization, and I believe this is a program that's also focused on providing solutions that are business-oriented. I think there's two really critical things to think about. So, one, on one side, that what we see, and I think this comes to some of the items that you've shared already, is do we think about it as just technology? And I have two videos here, and I'm just going to copy them into the chat because I think in my experience doing this before, the videos don't ever play properly when I do them. But here, I'm just going to send you, where is it? So the first video, that's the first one. The first one is a meme, and it's basically it's a situation where somebody is presenting their doing a pitch, and they're like, and it's all like AI. You have no idea what they're presenting about, but it's all about AI. So I'll give you a second to watch that one. And the second one is something similar. It's a group of consultants that are trying to win a client, and they use, again, the story of AI, but they don't really know why they're talking about AI. They just know that it's an exciting technology and that they want to use it. So, and I think we're in that period now. We know and we've experienced how technology is really transformational. But it's not really transformational until we understand how humans can use it to make their lives better. So from our point of view, this is what is critical, is understanding how new ideas, and I think that was brought up in the messages, is that when innovation is really a new idea, imagining a way of doing something different, but that is connected to user and the human experience. So now I'm going to go to the next half of it, which is innovation really about the customer and about the experience of others? And I'm going to share a link again with you. Has everyone able to get the link for this one? This one is I'll give you guys maybe just 1 minute to watch it. And for those who maybe cannot access the link, this is a YouTube video that's gone, or I think a TikTok video maybe that's gone on around frog, and a person who has built a house for a frog. And in this model, where what he's doing, he's kind of continually looking at this frog and his reaction to how the house has been built and developed. And here the customer is like, in this case, there's the builder of the house is continuously gathering this data from the frog and from these users that he's posting online, who are giving him suggestions about how to build this basically frog community. So where you start with a story of a house that's built for a frog, you get an entire ecosystem that's supporting really a bunch of frogs and animals that are connected to that frog. And I think this is a really powerful story about innovation. And it's important to see that you can get kind of organic growth from this kind of user experience. So it's really, really, really critical. So if we truly understand the needs of our customers, we're in the best position to understand how technology can play a role in a solution. And we don't need to be married to technology or to our idea first. So the example here is from the Enable community, which is a response to pressures on healthcare services from across the world, specifically from COVID-19, where there's a much less access to healthcare. So the community here is providing like volunteers who have free 3D printers, blueprints to print prosthetic arms and other kinds of limbs for those who need them, making it both cheaper and more accessible for communities to access them. So personally, in my view, innovation at its best is often this very simple and easy to explain. It's combining a problem with a simple solution. And as you kind of go on your journey in this program, where you're working on innovation, I really encourage you to think about it as a process, that you're developing a deep understanding of the problem of what you're trying to solve from the point of view of the customer or the community that you're working with. And then you start to imagine, that's where the creativity comes in. You start to imagine how you can draw from technology or from other, and I think it was really great, these videos that were shown in the beginning of, for example, Adejoke from Planet 3R. It doesn't necessarily need to be technology from a digital technology standpoint. It's an input that solves the problem for your community that you're working with. And then again, what we can learn from the frog story is that you continually develop and test prototypes, continually gather feedback. You want to get the evidence that consumers and suppliers, your partners, are willing to change their behaviors. And again, the story with Adejoke and the restaurant owner who changed her behavior to supply Adejoke with the water sachets is a great example. Try to see if people are able to change their behaviors and pay for that solution. So this is really critical. These are the important process steps to look at when you're thinking about innovation and when you're walking through the process. So I will stop there, but I'm really excited to see what you guys work on, and we're here as a team to support you. Looking forward.
Thank you so much, Dr. Natalie, for that thought-provoking presentation. Your expertise is truly commendable, and your perspectives you provided us with valuable insight. And what really got me is that builder building a house on the road analogy. It's quite interesting. Thank you so much, Dr. Natalie. So right about now, I'd like to invite our next speaker representing RecycleUp organization, our esteemed partner. So please join me in welcoming Mrs. Omobolanle Olowu as she gives her address. Mrs. Omobolanle, let's have you now, please.
Okay, hello everyone, and thank you, Ololade, for the invite. I'm happy to be here. RecycleUp is very happy to support the RecycleUp project. So not to take so much of your time, I'm just quickly going to introduce Recyclers. We're for-profit social enterprise, passionate and focused on helping individuals capture value from their waste. We were established in 2012, and since then, we've been able to collect over 10,000 tons of recyclable waste. We currently have five different models for waste collections. We have the drop-off, where individuals get to drop off their recyclable waste at any of our facilities. We have the household pickup, where we go to individuals' houses to collect recyclable waste. Before then, we would have trained people in that community and express the importance of recycling and why it is necessary to sort their waste from source. There is also the recycling exchange, where we put 40 food containers in densely populated communities that are hard to reach, mainly so that we can further encourage recycling in those communities. So we put those containers there. We hire people from that community that can serve as change agents in that community to sort of encourage people to sort and recycle their waste. We also have the franchises, where we establish individuals that are interested in going into the recycling business. So what we do there is just help them set up the business and support them to run that business. And the last model will be the corporate recycling model, where we encourage corporate organizations to recycle their waste as well. So all of this sort of just shows that we have different models to collect this waste. And what we also do is incentivize people for recycling. So once you separate your waste and you give to recyclers, it is weighed, and we have an app that helps to monitor and track each person's progress. So that sort of informs the individual of how much they have recycled and how much money they have saved with recyclers, because each item, plastic bottles, aluminum cans, glass, styrofoam, pure water sachets, nylons, paper, cardboard, all of these materials are recyclable materials, and they all have different incentives in terms of cash tied to it, different amounts of cash tied to it. So that's about recyclers. So onto our franchise model, which is really why we are happy to partner with the RecycleUp program. I'm personally excited to see over 250 people on this call. For me, it just goes to show that a lot of young people are aware of the issues that we are currently facing in terms of waste management, in terms of proper waste disposal. So I'm glad to see all these people here, and I'm glad to partner with RecycleUp, because one of the main aim of this partnership is to encourage the 250 people here to start up recycling businesses, at least those that want to, and Recyclers is here to offer support. So about our franchise model, it's basically an empowerment program to help wastepreneurs set up their businesses, set up and run their businesses. We want to make sure that people that have interest in going into the recycling space are properly motivated in terms of cash flow, in terms of equipment that is required, even in terms of training. So what we do is to provide necessary resources needed for operations. We provide machineries, we give loans and professional support as well for the franchisee to start their business. So one of the major requirements for this franchise is minimum a plot of land. We want to see that you have thought about how you intend to collect the plastic waste or the general recyclable waste from your community. We want to ensure that you are probably registered with the Lagos State government or the federal registration system, which is the NIN. We need letters of recommendation. And lastly, we want to ensure that you have a space to run that business. So those are the basic requirements that we need to start a franchise. What we'll be providing, we give you training. We would set up a sorting shed for you. will provide baling machine, a 400 capacity baling machine, 400 kilograms capacity baling machine. Will provide a minivan, provide a mobile toilet, water tanks. Would also cover the cost of logistics. So once you start your business and you start collecting waste, recyclers will buy from you and also cover the logistics. So for people that are outside Lagos, okay, I see a question that what of people that are outside Lagos? It's open to everyone in Nigeria. If you're outside Lagos, would also cover the logistics as well of buying and sending those materials to us. Well, I would also be providing a 300 kVA generator. And then lastly is our app that would also provide the franchisee access to, so that they can also monitor their progress. They know how much they have collected and how much money they have earned. So in all, currently we have 13 franchises that are in and outside Lagos, and we're looking to set up 17 more. So it'll be great to have the 17 people from these 259 participants that we have in this group. I know that this RecycleUp program will be beneficial to everyone here, and we are looking forward to at least selecting a few people from this cohort as well to join the franchise program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Omobalani Olobu, for your presentation. Thank you so much. And right about now, I'd like to welcome Mr. Emmanuel Ola Oluwoyo, who is going to share some key highlights on this particular session. Thank you, Mr. Emmanuel. Can we have you now? Mr. Emmanuel Oluwoyo.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Olalade, for this wonderful moderation. I want to appreciate Dr. Natalie and Mrs. Balani for leading to the session, and it's been an insightful one. Once again, I want to, on behalf of the organization, State of Africa, SGS in Nigeria, we want to congratulate each and everyone that have been selected to be part of this groundbreaking initiative, the RecycleUp Nigeria initiative. We can see a lot of people, a whole lot of people training across different states in Nigeria. And we are so delighted that this initiative, it's not just to a specific geopolitical zone or to a specific state. I can say it, and I'll say it emphatically, that this initiative is cuts across the 36 states in Nigeria plus FCT. So I think this is really encouraging. And on behalf of the project team, we are so glad to have each and every one, and we can assure you that this is going to be an impactful and a transformative session for each and every one of you. And this right about now, I would just like to share one or two information with you all, most especially which details more about the activity of this program. I want to ask, because definitely a lot of us don't like to study documents. I'm going to be sharing more information about the activities of this program. And this program is designed in 3 different phases. So I just want a yes or no in the comment section. If you've studied the program guide that was shared with you, please, I want a yes or no. I want a yes or no. You've studied it. I can see a lot of people on this call. I want to see yes or no. Be sincere if you've not studied it. It's a learning process for each and every one of you. I mean, it's a learning curve which you have to do. Because if you study that program guide very well, you are not going to have any issue. You are not going to have any issue. It provides full information about this program and the various aspects of this program. And we can say that through this program, we are going to drive the transition towards circular economy in Nigeria. And this is not to say that you are not knowledgeable or you don't have vast knowledge or you don't have a good information about what is going in the environment. I was discussing with some people and I asked them that when was the first time you heard about circular economy? And I'm going to ask that question again. For everyone on this call, when was the first time, maybe 2020, 2021, or 2022? When was the first time you heard about circular economy? You can also drop down in the comment section to each and everyone that said yes, you are great, you are all wonderful. And to those who have not shared, have not studied our document, we are going to study the document together now. Okay, I can see 2018, 2023. I can see 2017. Awesome. I can see a lot of people saying 2023. And to many people, this might be the first time which you are hearing about circular economy. And this is part of our culture. This is part of what we do sometimes at home, at work. And it's very important for us to be very cautious about our behavioral activities and our sustainable living practices. It's not just until they make it a policy, or it's not just when they make it a regulation for you that you must not. I remember sometimes ago, many years ago in Lagos, when you're in Lagos, you dare not throw any waste, anything plastic, anything nylon out of the car or across the road. Then they're going to sue you, you are going to pay some fine. I know that within that period, people were so curious and people were so, that kind of mindset that don't throw anything across the street, along the street when you are driving. But you see today, a lot of us, even when we are driving or when you are walking across the street, you just consume something and you just throw it away. These are things, these are habits which you have to stop. And it's very important. Then when we go over and over to the production process, the aspect of this program is not just came to one particular sector, maybe plastic recycling. No. We are focusing, it's being focused on 8 different sectors. Yeah, it's being focused on 8 different sectors, which each and every one of us can get to learn on. And I'm going to say this, that it's going to be an impactful one for each and every one. And one of the very major sector is youth environment. We also have the power waste, we have the energy, we have the electronic sector, that's electronic, where we generate more of the e-waste. And these are things which also endangers life and which also contributes to pollution in the environment. We also look at the plastic, which happens to be, one of the major areas which we get to prioritize in Nigeria now. And definitely during the course of our program, you also learn more. It's not just when they say plastic, there are 4 different types of plastics. I know there are some professionals in the house that will definitely give us more information on that. I'm not to speak about that. We have also the textile, we have the water aspect, we also have the food and agriculture, which is very important. These are things we are going to learn over and over in this program. And this program is mainly focused in this area so that it can help us to promote sustainable solutions that will preserve our environment. It's very important. You all know the issues happening in line to the climate issues, environmental hazards, different issues. We are still blessed in Nigeria. If you see some situations in all other countries, you are going to be scared that, wow, Nigeria is still blessed. But however, it's still very important for us to keep and preserve this planet here in this country. And yeah, definitely for the future generations to be able to meet their needs, our action today contributes to that. Your action today contributes to that. And this project, it's focused on diverse areas. It's focused on areas like recycling technology, circular economy initiatives, waste management innovations, sustainable product development and design, and many more, which is going to be of a great benefit to each and every one of us. And we can assure you that this program is going to be an impactful one. Definitely is going to be a comprehensive one whereby it's not for the lazy one. Let me use that word. This program is not for the lazy one, because you are going to have series of trainings, you are going to have series of teamwork, which is going to be across different states. Remember, I said something earlier when I started that we have this project across the 30 states in Nigeria, and the least number of applicants we have from each state is 4 or 5 from each state. And there are some states that we have over 20 applicants that are being onboarded as we speak. We are so glad to have this. We are also going to share with each and every one of you. And for this program, the very first phase is the technical workshop, where we are going to have advanced training in line to aspects of circular economy, sustainable waste management, and various aspects of environmental sustainability, environmental pollution, how we can get to control environmental pollution. And another advanced part of this program is where we have the boot camp. Yeah, where we are going to have more of the innovation process, and it's going to be an advanced training, because for those who are going to be emerging as successful participants of this program, we just don't want to train you alone. We want to ensure that you have your innovations initiated, ongoing, running concurrently, whereby you can also get to scale up. And we sincerely want to appreciate Recycler. I remember Madam Bolali saying something the other time that 17, well, we are very sure that that 17 is still going to increase, because we have a whole lot of hardworking youths. A whole lot of hardworking youths in this country, and they are ready to pioneer innovations towards achieving circular economy in Nigeria. And to each and every one, I think I will just do, if you've not downloaded that document, please go and download that document, as it entails every activity of this program. And there is a date, there is a deadline to each and every activity of this program. After, I will try as much as possible to run through the various phases of this program. And we are going to take questions from each and every one, which we also respond to. And after that, we are going to move to the first training session. We are having a training session on environmental pollution and control, which is going to be led by one of an industry expert who has been working in line to energy, climate, and waste pollution in Nigeria. And she's also going to be on the call, and she's going to be leading that session for the next 1 hour. However, I will just, let me see if I can share my screen for, okay. But it's very important for each and every one. There is a program guide and program brief that was shared with you. It's very, very important for you to, study that document and read, check through the timeline of activities. Let me see if I can share my screen shortly for those of us that have not studied the document, and to also make communication swift. Just in a minute where I share my screen. Okay, I believe you can see my screen now. I would just like a yes or no, yeah, for each and everyone on the call. You can use the comment section. If you can see my screen, do yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Anna Ladi. Thank you, Jumbo, each and everyone. Yeah, thank you. It's a yes. All right. I will make this very brief in less than 10 minutes. I believe I should be done with this, and we can move on to the next phase whereby we can ask questions. Currently, we are the technical workshop series whereby you get to learn various aspects, and like I earlier mentioned, we are going to have advanced learnings on trainings on circular economy, sustainable waste management. We are going to to have sustainable trainings on sustainable building and construction, how you can have a green environment, and different aspects. And this training series is going to run between today and next week Friday. We are having just 4 days dedicated to this activity. And the very first day is today, and the second day is tomorrow. I'm trying to say this clear enough to each and everyone. And also next week, Thursday and Friday, will be I can see someone drawing on my screen. Sorry, I have to delete that. Okay. And next week, Thursday and Friday, which is going to be the final phase of this training session. And each and every session, it's very, very important for you to be present. It's very, very important for you to ensure attendance, your full participation and attendance. You know, we could have provided you with maybe courses which you can do online. Yeah, we are still going to provide you some of those courses on El Mercator website, which you can also build. However, I want you to have a live experience, real life experience with your facilitator, gets to engage them, gets to learn from them. They are not just facilitators alone, they are mentors. I mean, these are people that have done excellently well in line to sustainable waste management and circular economy, and which I will also celebrate someone like Dr. Natalie, and looking at the impact she is making in the space in Nigeria. Yeah, and each and every section is going to be well detailed, informative, and each and every session is going to run between 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. in the morning. That's West African time. And it's very, very important for each and every one of us to participate actively. For every session, there is always an attendance which you take, and you don't just get accepted on our program. We also track your participation, your active participation. So, which is one of the things that is going to determine if you are going to move to the next phase or not. And at the end of this, we are going to have an assessment and knowledge evaluation if truly you understood all what that you learned during the workshop series. And that is going to also be a virtual engagement, and it's going to hold 30th of this month. That's 30th of September. And the communications officer, they are going to share more updates to that. They are in line to that. Then on the 29th, which is going to be the last day of our workshop, we're also going to have to discuss and engage each other across different states, whereby you can connect with all other members, all other fellows from your state. You can get to engage them virtually, whereby we have different breakout rooms for different states. Please, the program managers should also note that. And between 27th and 1st of October, there is going to, each and every state are going to submit a proposal for the advocacy campaign. Yeah, it's very important because this is a very crucial part. That's the advocacy and case study development. And this advocacy part is whereby each and everyone gets to engage with different communities. You get to engage with different network of people, and you get to sensitize them about this principle of circular economy. You know, many people think we have 3 hours. We actually have 10 hours of circular economy. Yeah, so, but I'm not diving into that aspect this morning. I don't have any role to take in that regard. However, these are key areas which we are all going to learn on, and each and every one of us are going to have good knowledge about. And another key area which is very, very important is the case study development, whereby each state team are going to conduct a research, and you get to research on countries, on organizations doing excellently well in line to circular economy, various aspects of waste management. And you know, there is no development that doesn't exist. The development, the innovation you are looking for, which you think it's possible, it's existing somewhere. then there is a need for you to study, there's a need for you to research to see how we can bring that into our system here in Nigeria, and which is going to be a group work for each and every one. The case study development is going to be a group work for each and every one, and we are going to make a proposal recommending this solution of yours as a state team to your states, and this is going to be published on your names. Yeah, and this can be added to your list of publications as well. Just like I said, this program is well comprehensive, and it's going to be engaging. I mean, engaging. It's not for the lazy one. And the awareness and advocacy campaign, this focus on various community groups, various education institutions, businesses which are in your community. It's left for you to determine which particular group you want to focus on, be it the education outreach, maybe you want to do an education outreach, or you want to do a public event, or you want to do a virtual series, or you want to get on radios or TV to get to sensitize people about circular economy. It's very, very, very important for each and every one of us. And the last core part, which is the innovation phase, whereby we get to incubate, we get to ideate these solutions. I mean, these solutions you have, and for each and every one, whereby you get access to mentorship, and whereby you can transform your ideas into real life initiatives. And like I mentioned, we don't want a paperwork. We want an actionable plan. I mean, something sustainable, a sustainable solution that you are going to initiate and you are going to kickstart. So it's very, very important for each and every one of us to make note of that. And another key aspect, which is, I will quickly run through this phase 2. For phase 2, we commenced phase 2 2nd of October, and the advocacy and awareness campaign is going to run between 1st to 15th of October, that is 2023, next month. And the case study development is going to be between 10th and 25th of October. And at the end of that, you are going to submit your report for the advocacy campaign, after which you are also going to submit your development proposal 25th of October. And that's 27th of October, we are going to have a virtual presentation across all teams, whereby they get to share what their case study development is, and we get to present and get to review this over and over. And the last part of this program is the circular innovation stage, whereby we are going to get, like I mentioned, we are going to ideate, and you are going to pioneer those solutions in line to circular economy and sustainable waste management. The only one we talk about sustainable waste management is still invite into circular economy. Yeah. And for the phase 3 of this program, the very key part we are going to be dealing with is sustainability talent, the technical and various aspects and building practices for different outputs and different individuals. Yeah, that learning phase, that learning phase for each and every thing. And definitely, successful participants are going to be notified 4th of November. And the circular innovation camp, we look forward to have you regulatory and we'd like to have you as part of the 4th of November. And the circular innovation features, definitely we need to start doing that now. And we also have some people that already have states as soon as possible. Yes, this is welcome. It's very, very important to start thinking, put those innovations, those ideas together. And so another thing we also think is important, whereby you can get to that 2024 for yes, we're going to share more information when we get to the Then we are going to submit to a circular economy innovation that consists of November, and it gets to notify those successful circular innovators are going to be notified the 1st of December, and whereby we get to connect and gets to launch, and we get to move to the graduation. Okay, which guys, if you are teaching them, calendar towards the program. The program ends exactly that's 7th of December, and the next call for application is going to be 15th of December to 18th of February 2024. And the next course is going to be spring, March, and September. Yeah, it's a 6-month activity in 2024. However, we are putting this together to ensure that we don't lose out in 2023 targets, and we don't believe we have everything before we get to achieve what we want to achieve. With the meeting you have, we can achieve something. I always say this: with the meeting you have, we can get to make that impact, we can get to make that change. We can get to contribute to the 2030 agenda for sustainable development. Each and every language because we speak on circular economy, green economy, blue economy, every form of economy, everything is imbibed in the SDGs. So it's very, very important. And I would like, at this point, I would like to take 1 or 2 questions in line to the various things which I've shared with you, most especially this timeline. And this I won't say the rigorous timeline, but it's very, very important to keep the date. It's very, very important to keep each and every of the activities. Okay, I would like to hand over to, okay, let me just take questions. Okay, I would just like to take questions right now before we move to the next section for today. Okay, I can see a lot of hands up. Okay, I always like to ask a question. But if we can, if your question, if we can't take a question this morning, we take it after the first 3 seconds. So please, we just like to take like but those 3 people are the ones that properly named their and after the first name and the last name, so once you see that you already know what you're getting from. All right, so you are taking from Lagos. So you are posting a Afolabi, please unmute your mic and ask the question in 30 seconds.
Good morning, sir. My name is Afolabi from Lagos. My question is, I want to ask if all the sessions of this program will it be conducted online, or are we still going to have sessions where we have to do it practically, maybe in a lab or something?
Okay. So all right. Thank you very much for that question, Luatosi. I can take as many as possible questions that I respond to each and every question once and for all. Okay, can we take in the free apologies if I mispronounce your name, from Aquabom. Please unmute your mic and ask a question.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning, this morning.
Okay, yes, I just want to quickly ask, because there was a little glitch, in your voice towards the end of your presentation. I didn't quite get, some parts of what you said. But I want to ask, there are parts I saw, awareness and advocacy campaign, case study development and all that. I think that will require funding, or I don't really understand how we are going to, handle that part. If we are going to do it from our boss, or, you have something, there is a way you will support clarifications, a little bit clarification.
Okay, awareness and advocacy campaign. All right. Yeah, yes. Thank you. Thank you. All right, can we have Usman? Usman, you can unmute your mic and ask your question. Usman, please unmute your mic and ask your question. Hello, Usman, are you there? Okay, let's have Emmanuel. Oh, sorry, before we have Emmanuel, I would always like it a gender balance. And can we have Olajumoke? Olajumoke, this, you didn't, your display name is not in the right format. Please, can you do that? However, I'm going to call you. Please unmute your mic and ask your question. Preferably
Okay,
tell us.
thank you very much. My name is Olajumoke and I'm from Lagos. I've been trying to change the name, but I'm unable to get a hold of that. I'm so sorry about that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the wonderful opportunity that we've been given to be a part of RecycleUp. Can you still hear me? Please confirm that you can still hear me.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. So as I was saying,
yes, we can hear you. Ask your question.
Yeah, I said thank you for the opportunity. So my question is, one, after the onboarding, which is for today, and the sessions for today, how do we then proceed to the next phase? Is it that there is an examination or there is an assessment for us to go through? And also, I see in the chat box that there are some links of group chats to join some states. Are those group chats from RecycleUp, or we can just join those group chats on our own wish? I don't know how best
all right,
to
okay, yeah.
put that. Yeah, sorry. One more question before I unmute myself. For the project and reports and case study submission as well, you didn't really explain much on that. I don't really understand that part. Is it that after the awareness and advocacy campaign, are we going to be given a topic to write on, or we just come up with it by ourselves within the state? How is that going to be like? Thank you.
Okay. I will just take one more question and I'll respond to you from a female that I can see on the score. Okay. And just a minute, I want to see someone I can call. Okay, Endurance, can you unmute your mic and ask your question?
Okay, good day, sir.
Good morning.
Good day, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, we can hear you speak on this.
Okay, thank you for this great opportunity. Yes, I want to ask a question. I'm somehow confused. I'm just joining today. And the question is just that, what is the criteria? Is there anything we have to do if we miss a session? That is, maybe we have a breakdown on electricity or light, or your phone is down and you're unable to join some sections. Is there any penalty for that?
Okay, sessions, missing sessions. All right, thank you very much for these questions. I feel I can respond to each and every question now. I can
okay. I'm sorry,
right.
secondly, sorry. Yes, another question. And the second question is, I saw people dropping their name and state. Is that the attendance, or how are we going to be filling our attendance as well? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I will start with your question. And just like I said, I might not be able to take all the questions now. I'll start with the last speaker question, which has to do with attendance. So at the end of every session, please mute your mic. At the end of every session, okay. At the end of every session, there is going to be an attendance and evaluation link that will be shared. It's always a tracking and evaluation form whereby you can get to share with us the knowledge which you got in from that session and how impactful the session was. And that forms your attendance for that session. So, and the link is going to be shared only on the Zoom platform. and it's not meant to be shared on the WhatsApp platforms. So if you share, I know that the project managers are also on the community platform. Please don't share, because once you share, they are going to remove you. They are going to remove you from the program entirely. So it's very, very important for each and every one of us. The link will always be shared at the end of the training session, and sometimes it can be shared at the mid of the training session. So it's not like you're calculating that I didn't attend to the session. They are going to share towards the end of the session. That is when I want to join. It might be so amazing, and they will share at the beginning of the session. So, but it's very important for you to learn, for you to be part of this series. Just like I said, they could have shared some link or some courses online which you can have in line to circular economy practices, but no, they want you to have real life experience with your facilitators. And like I mentioned, they are not facilitators, they are mentors. They are here to share their experience with us. They are here to engage us actively and for us to get to know more about this aspect of circular economy and sustainable waste management practices. So that's regarding attendance. And for the sessions, we have 4 sessions, 4 workshop sessions, which is going to be this today, tomorrow, next week, Thursday, and next week, Friday. It's very, very important for you to have at least 70% attendance. So if you are missing, if you missed, or maybe if you missed today, you must not miss tomorrow. And you can miss one of those sessions, but it's very, very important you are part of all these activities. And another key area which is very important is you get to rewatch the video. So if you missed today's session, you can get to rewatch the video on YouTube. So the videos are on YouTube for you to watch over again. And the very first question I received was, is this training going to be a physical training or it's going to be a virtual training? These trainings are meant to be virtual trainings. We are going to have the training virtually all through this 4 series of workshops. So it's very, very important for you to be active. It's very, very important for you to be present in every of these series. And I would also like to say that for each of the virtual series, however, the phase 2 and the phase 2 of the program, this is what you have to do physically. There are some of those activities you have to do. You are going to be doing physically, maybe when you are engaging with communities, just when you want to do a community sensitization. I remember during the World Cleanup Day, which was last week, Saturday, and we had various activities in various states. And I mentioned, and it's still one thing which I emphasize on, I don't believe in just cleaning the community for people. I go into the community, tell them the reason why they need to keep to a clean environment. You can clean a community, you can clean a street, you can clean a market today and get there tomorrow and meet it the same way like that. You met it earlier. So it's very important for you to get to sensitize them, educate them. And these are things you can do without spending any time. We are not asking you to go and sink a bowl or to go and implement a RecycleUp in a particular market. No. However, there are also organizations that are looking forward to people that have this kind of initiative, which you can get to partner with in your states. We run projects that we have over 20 Ministry of Environment partnering with these communities. I mean, these communities of advocates or change makers. And all they did was to submit a letter to these organizations, and their letter was acknowledged, and they partnered with them without spending any dime. So I'm answering your question, and even to have a series on the radio station, you can get to write. You can even tell them that maybe this is your personal project and you want to be having the program every week. There are stations that they want such activity going on as part of their series on a weekly basis. So this is where Partnership for the Goals, SDG 17, comes in. So we are not asking you to maybe to run a project that is capital intensive, or maybe to create engage on an advocacy campaign that is capital intensive, which you are going to be spending your money on. And these are things which, you know, there is a process to it. However, I'm also going to mention this because we get to sensitize and discuss this more with the state reps for each and every state. So those, someone mentioned that they were sharing a WhatsApp link. Please, if there is any WhatsApp link anyone is sharing, kindly discard it. That link is not valid. That link is not valid. So for any group, we are going to share the WhatsApp, approved WhatsApp link at the later, before tomorrow's session. We are going to have that WhatsApp link whereby you can join your state WhatsApp group. You can get to discuss, you can get to engage each other, and you can get to brainstorm and network with each other. However, the main community is going to remain closed for now. The main WhatsApp community is going to remain closed for now, and to further notice, because we don't want you to spam that group with too much information. I know many of us have our personalized flyers. We like to share our personal. No, it's not welcome. You have to post your personalized flyer on your social media platform and to announce your achievements or your selection in a program. So, like I said, the WhatsApp link is going to be shared with you, and that's later in the day before tomorrow's session. And I think I've addressed the aspect of missing session, to the aspect of projects and case study. Yeah, this is meant to be a group study. I mean, a collective work in between your states, amongst your state members. You have to do that review, and definitely they're going to share more guidelines with you. There's a template which they also share with you. So for each, someone said, what is the criteria to proceed to the next phase? One of the major criteria is for this phase is your attendance. Your attendance is part of it, proceeding to the next phase. And another very key aspect is the knowledge about the evaluation. This is going to be virtual as well. Coding, going to be on 30th of September 2023. So these are things that form part of the assessments, and it's very, very important for each and everyone to participate all through. Please don't miss out in it. Don't miss out in it. It's very, very, very important. I think I can still take more questions. I see some hands, I see many hands up. But please, if your question has been answered, please drop your hand. Maybe why I was addressing each and every one. If your question has been answered, please. We have Deborah from Lagos. You can unmute your mic and ask your question. Deborah, Fashion, you can unmute your mic. Hello, Deborah, if you are there. Okay, can we have
Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, and thank you very much for the explanation. However, I would like to say that I'm very excited to be here. But, you've said quite a lot of information, and I know there are some that we got, and there are some that we might want to revisit so we can have a proper understanding of it. So now my question is that, are we going to kind of get like a detailed document that explains all of this that we can read by ourselves and all?
Oh, Deborah, Deborah, you are muted. Your mic is muted.
Can you still hear me?
Okay, we can hear you now.
Okay, so I don't know the last thing you heard, but let me take it again. So what I was saying is that I would like to know if all of this that you've said today, they are quite a lot, and so that we can kind of go back to it, go through it again
Okay, you
for
can revisit.
a
All right.
second. Exactly. And the last thing I would like to say is that, yes, most of these programs we are doing, yes, I want to believe that there'll be like a prior notice of the day we have to do some certain things so that we don't get lost in our own other activities and we end up missing deadlines, and like a proper hands-on instruction that will help us in the course of the program. So that's what I would just like to talk about. Thank you very much to all the team.
Yeah. So can we have John? John from FCT, you can unmute your mic and ask your question. Why I just take one or two.
Okay. I want to say a big thank you, sir, for the opportunity to be part of this great movement. I will call it a movement. And though part of the question will be asked, but I just want to know on the day, I mean, the timing and the date of the day, that some of us also engage in some of the things, but we actually value this knowledge that we are about to acquire or we have started acquiring. So want to know about the timing, the date of the week. How often?
Sorry, John, can you please take your question again? We appreciate you tap on your question. Hello, John, if you are there, I didn't get the last part of your question.
Yeah, I'm talking about the time and the date of our session or of our lecture. Knowing that,
okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, John. I'll just take two more, then I'll be able to respond to each and everyone at once. Okay. I've said whoever does, please ensure your display name is in the right format. Let's do that. Okay. Can we have Oluwamiwa from Lagos? Oluwamiwa, please unmute your mic and ask your question.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Oluwamiwa. You can speak on.
I would like to, well, some of my question has been answered by you, but I would like to know, sir, what will be our benefit regarding this training and this RecycleUp that the circular energy we are about to start the lecture or the programming. So I just want to know what will be our training. And again, I want to suggest maybe this can be recorded so that at least we can actually go back to it, or maybe materials can be provided at the end of each section.
We are already running out of time, and I will not be able to attend to all the questions now. I would just like to, because we are already holding our I'm going to continue this. I'm going to continue of our question. Is recorded, and it's very, very important. You can see on my screen. You can see on my screen the dates for the program. 24th, 27th, 28th, and 28th of September. These are the dates, and please, it's very, most of the questions we are asking are in the documents that that's the program that was shared with you. So just the handing back to our moderator for in person of the as we are going to have in our next training sessions. Thank you so much. I'm still going to respond to our questions that after this session we can have to get to deliberate more. And also on the general WhatsApp community, you can ask questions and this is going to be addressed over and over. However, like I mentioned, The training sessions are just 4 series. We are for today, tomorrow, next week, Thursday, and next week, Friday. And it's just for 2.5 hours. Starts at 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. Some sessions are recorded in English and it's being recorded at home. So you can go back to listen to this session, the part which you didn't get clearly. All right, over to you, Ololade.
Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel Olaoluwayo. And thank you so much for such a detailed, highlight. And I'm sure, like you said, if you have any other questions, please feel free to drop it on, the WhatsApp chat group. Okay, so right about now, I'd like to invite our next speaker, who is our facilitator for this training session. But before I do so, let me provide you with a brief overview of our remarkable background and expertise. Deborah Fadeyi is an accomplished energy and sustainability professional with a decade of cross-disciplinary experience. She founded RES Africa, a non-profit providing energy access to Nigerians' most vulnerable and remote rural communities. She functions as the Chief Sustainability Officer at Motainai Recycling, Oyo State Waste Management, leveraging our expertise in policy development, techno-economic models, and community-led initiatives. Deborah leads Vector, a startup driving clean energy innovations while incentivizing users to reduce purchase costs, monetize social and climate impact. Deborah was appointed as the youngest brain trust board member under the climate and energy domain at XPRIZE, where she collaborates with experts to develop global prizes. She also participates in policy and stakeholder sessions with organizations like IEA, advocating for people-centered transitions. Deborah is an accomplished author, writing children's books that sensitize African children to energy and climate issues in practical and relatable terms. Her exceptional contributions have earned global recognition, such as the 2020 Future Award Africa Prize for Community Action, considered the Nobel Prize for Young Africans. Deborah holds a master's from Cardiff University in Sustainability Energy and Environment and a BSc in Chemistry. She has qualifications from institutions such as the Hague Academy for Local Governance in the Netherlands, among others. Deborah is a 2023 Keynes Fellow, 2023 IRENA Youth Delegate, 2022 Tech Women Fellow, 2019 Chevening Scholar, among other awards. Currently, she's studying financing and deploying clean energy program at the Yale Center for Business and the Environment. So welcome, Mrs. Deborah Fadeyi. Let's have you now.
Thank you so much, Ololade. Thank you so much for the introductions, and thank you to the RecycleUp Nigeria team for organizing this. First off, let me just quickly apologize before moving forward. I see that everyone's video is turned on, but I'm in quite an uncomfortable situation at the moment. So I may not be able to turn on my video, but rest assured you'd get the very best from this. So thank you for allowing me to do this. So today we'll be talking about a very critical aspect that involves every one of us, right? Starting from, just to give a background, starting from what we are currently facing as regards climate change to public health issues, to pretty much just, getting the best out of life, getting the best quality a life and living a life that has integrity, right? And also has access to opportunities. Every now and then when I think about climate change, when I think about environmental sustainability, I see opportunities, right? I want to believe that we all understand what is happening, right? We've experienced it. Even though we don't necessarily know, or the people around us cannot qualify what it is, but at some point in time, we've experienced climate change, right? We've experienced the effects of climate change. We've experienced the effect of flooding. We've experienced the effect of improper waste management, right? Which is pretty much what I will be talking about today. Proper waste management. But looking at it from a stand view, you would realize that all of these issues that have raised climate change, flooding, air pollution, all of this feeds into waste management, or better still, feeds out from waste management. If you take a look at our dump sites, because right now we don't necessarily have a landfill. If you take a look at our dump sites, they are open spaces, as organic material is decaying, our food waste that we did not segregate or sort is decaying, is releasing methane into the environment. And in releasing methane into the environment, it's causing global warming because the earth is warming up, right? The greenhouse gases being released is, basically that runaway emission is still contributing to climate change. But there's a lot that we can do about it, pretty much, right? And it starts with us. And I like the fact that, we have over 255 participants here. That means that we are interested in this. And I just want to basically share everything, right? This is like a masterclass. I want to share everything I know, right? I want to share all that I know so that you can take advantage of it and do something at the end of this training, right? I don't just want us to listen in and not get anything tangible from this, but I want us to, actualize what we're about to talk about. I stand to be corrected, but I want to believe that every or most states in the country is represented on this call, right, on this training, and most of us are youths, right? Emmanuel, please, if I'm wrong, please kindly correct me. Most of them are youths.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So that means that we've hit a gold mine pretty much, because recycling and waste management are very significant challenges, and Nigeria is faced with various issues related to waste, from inadequate infrastructure to limited awareness to lack of effective policies. Not necessarily the policies, because the policies are there, but the policy implementation itself, right? And because we are young people, we play a crucial role in addressing these issues. Take, for example, inadequate infrastructure. You know what your community is passing through, so you can suggest, or you can, come up with innovative ways to improve the infrastructure. Through volunteering, you can create awareness, right? Putting yourself in key places within the government, because young people must be involved in policy making, right? Young people must be involved in the government. You can position yourself to help, make a positive difference, right? And this is how young people can contribute. But looking at the challenges itself, right, from the issue of waste, improper waste management, I currently work with Mutaina Recycling as the Chief Sustainability Officer, and we are the Oyo State Waste Management Consultant, right? And I can tell you for a fact that these challenges that I mentioned, which is inadequate infrastructure, is not just an or your thing. It is something that we are working on as a consultant to help the government improve on these things, right? But it's still prevalent in other states. For example, Kano, Abuja, right? The waste coverage percentage is really, really low. People still dump in different, disposing appropriately, right? But if there is adequate infrastructure, this will not be an issue, because if Nigeria has comprehensive waste collection and recycling infrastructure, the data to back it up, people will not be dumping openly or creating black spots or fly tipping or even burning, right? And as Nigerians, we have this, sublime consciousness that this thing is bad, but we do it anyways. Because when it starts to rain, people in these local communities bring out their waste to pour into the drainages, saying that the water will carry it to wherever. They don't know, but they just don't want it at their doorstep or at their backyard, right? They don't just want waste at their backyard. But this constitutes a nuisance to water bodies. It even causes flooding. If you stay in Oyo State, you've heard of this slang, omiyale, there has been different casualties because of flooding, which could have been prevented if there is a proper waste management, if there is adequate infrastructure in place to collect and to transport, waste, which is very, very important, right? Then, in as much as we have policies, the implementation is really low because enforcement is weak. So if enforcement is weak, that leads to non-compliance, right? And saddled with the responsibility of, having to deal with plastic pollution, we as human beings, as the users, we do not practice waste hierarchy, which is pretty much reduce, reuse, recycle, right? We are so hinged on the perspective that why would I buy something and still, pay to dispose it, right? Why would I buy something and still, use efforts to reduce or to recycle it? Why would I buy a plastic bottle and I will still have to sort it or segregate it? And this is a significant concern because as humans, we are responsible for every action that we take, particularly to our environment, because you have four very important relationships. The first being with God or whatever entity you believe in. The second being with yourself, right? You have a relationship with yourself. The third is pretty much to your family, the people that you hold dear, right? With basically relationship with people. And the fourth is relationship with, can you hear me? The fourth is relationship with the environment. And I see that this is the most important. Yes. I see the relationship with your environment is the most important relationship, because think about it. Think critically about it, right? If there is war, we won't be having this. Everybody will be running helter-skelter, right? If there is flooding, there will not be access to anything. Remember the flooding that happened, I think last year, towards the basically that encapsulated different states. There was some sort of unrest. So there is a saying that I really like to, focus on, which is there cannot be a society or a business if there's no environment. When we were growing up in biology or so, They'll tell us that the earth is our habitat. Every organism has its own habitat, right? So think of the earth as our habitat. If we do not take care of it, then there is no way it can take care of us. So we have a very mandatory relationship with the environment, and we need to see it from that aspect. And it starts with you. What are you doing with your waste? Are you sorting? Are you segregating? Right? What are you doing to encourage people to do others? How are you engaging people? Not all of us will be volunteers. Not all of us would, be entrepreneurs. Not all of us will work in policy, but all of us can practice this. So it starts from us. Let's leave all of this. Let's start from ourselves. It starts from us, right? What are you doing to ensure that you practice the 3 R's? How are you reducing at home? How are you recycling? How are you reusing? Do you have to take it back to the market? All of these simple tips is very, very important, right? It's very important for us to implement. Now, how can young people essentially make a difference? Aside doing this, taking simple actions, being the gospel yourself. As young people, we can start by educating other people. First, educating ourselves, then educating other people about the importance of proper waste management and recycling, right? Thankfully, on this training, right, you understand what it is to volunteer. You can talk about it on your social media, your Instagram, LinkedIn. It's very simple. You can even become an advocate on it, that people know you as someone that, is an expert on proper waste management, which could essentially open doors for you in the global settings, like international settings, so that when, that person, Bukola is a climate change advocate. Bukola is a recycling expert. She can do this, she can do that, because you are putting yourself out there and educating people about it. So many people have gotten international opportunities from just doing this, from just engaging on social media about what their interests are. So this is a very good place to, start, right? Then the second is engaging in community cleanup initiatives, like organizing cleanup drives in your local neighborhoods, in public spaces, just to demonstrate, keeping the environment clean, right? We recently organized a World Cleanup Day, where we had several organizations come on board, right, to not just do like some sort of community cleanup within the community, but most importantly, help people realize the importance and the opportunity in plastics, single-use plastic, right? Teaching them that waste is actually a resource, not just waste. Waste is a resource. What is waste to you is a raw material to someone else, right? If you look at plastics, if you look at aluminum cans, if you look at cartons, this can be recycled to make new products. Because if they are to make virgin products, like start it from the scratch, it will cost more. But having to take up the used version and recycle it, reduce the cost of production, which could essentially even reduce the cost at which customers would essentially buy it. So people need to view waste as a resource, as opposed to, just waste. At Montana Recycling, we have a slang: we buy your waste. We buy your waste, because it's simple for people to relate. We buy your waste. Oh, you buy my waste. And then when they ask us for more information, we are able to tell them so and so. It's not just even about plastics or carton. There are other goods waste streams that you can also recycle or reuse. Another is food waste, right? Organic waste. You can turn organic waste to biogas instead of buying gas. What's called LPG gas to cook. You can use biogas to cook. You can use biogas to power street lights. You can use biogas, turn biogas, you can use the gas to generate electricity, right? So like these are the things that, you know, we can involve ourselves in as young people. Advocating, engage your local authorities, your local government, your policymakers, your honorables in different constituencies to implement, proper waste management, to implement recycling programs. And most importantly, with entrepreneurship, we can explore different business opportunities, such as setting up recycling centers, waste collection services, upcycling businesses, and this just doesn't just create employment, it also contributes to waste reduction, because as you are doing it, you are turning, the waste that will probably end up at the dump site, you're turning it into usable goods, right? We have different programs at Mutana Recycling. We are really committed to localizing waste infrastructure that we have this OMI 2.0 Smart Recycling Hub, where we commit the hub. It's a pretty much 3x3 meter hub. We commit the hub to a young person, right, to collect recyclables, which is plastic, cartons, iron, from people within the community, right? And after collecting, right, they don't have to do anything. We would help them, we would take from them and pay them the equivalent, right? And in so doing, they don't need so much capital investment to do the needful, right? And then they can expand with this 3x3 hub. They can continually expand. And we also have people, that are private waste operators. You register, you own a truck, you have a truck that you can use to collect waste. You own a truck, you bring it, we do the validation, and then we give you a slot. And this is pretty much simple because we've been able to leverage data and technology to do this, right? Gone are the days where, we don't essentially know who is picking, what is currently picking, or the streams, right? But what we are currently doing at Mutana Recycling, we're able to use GIS to tell the lots, right? So take, for example, this particular waste operator is doing, say, Bere or Bodija. You can also tell the waste operator doing another area too as well by just leveraging GIS, right? So with this lot allocation, we can give people that are interested in collecting, basically decentralizing waste collection, ensuring that what you can handle is what is given to you. And as your capacity increases, right, we are giving you more houses or more properties to control, right? So these are areas young people can plug into, right? We complain about, there's no employment, right? But there are several challenges that Nigeria is currently facing that if only we can plug into it, particularly waste management, if only we can plug into it, we are made for life. I've heard of stories, I've met different people who built their entire career around waste management, and they are doing so well, right? So it is a very lucrative industry. It is a very, very lucrative industry. But as young people, we need to do things differently. We can't do it the way other people have done it, just collecting waste and disposing it. We have to do it in a very innovative way. I dare say sustainable waste management, right? Where, we are not just collecting and transporting to dispose, but we are encouraging people with different innovation and technologies to, sort, segregate, right? And basically collect, transport, not dispose, but reuse, right? There are different avenues to reuse. You can reuse waste for construction. You can reuse waste for basically construction materials like tiles, pipes and all of that. You can reuse waste for electricity. There are different, aspects that you can tap into. You can also develop innovative solutions like mobile app to schedule waste collection, or waste sorting technologies, or even recycling initiatives tailored to local needs. So take, for example, there are several, what we did as at during World Cleanup Day is actually part of our program. We call it Recyclables for Rewards. We partner with a health personnel. We've partnered with MedPlus, FinRel, different health organizations. And what we do, interestingly, is we understand that access to medical facilities in Nigeria is limited. Like, there are certain people that cannot pay for medical services, right? We tell them to bring their plastics or their recyclables, right? And then they use the recyclables as a medium to pay for health checks, right? So the very good senior colleague of mine, which is African Cleanup Initiative, right, is using recyclables to pay children's tuition fees, particularly in low-income communities, that are attending low-cost private schools. So they bring their plastics, and as the term progresses, the school gets paid from the plastics. That's very innovative, right? And it's tailored to the local needs, because that this is what is needed for the community, right? Then also, young people can engage schools, and educational institutions to integrate waste management and recycling into the curriculum, right? A lot of NGOs right now are currently collaborating with educational institutions to see how, we can integrate waste management and recycling into the curriculum. I know there is this organization, Tangerine Life. So across Lagos, in public schools, they have this recycling bin that looks like a bottle, right? Children can bring their recycling to school. So basically organize some sort of training for the children, like a sensitization program for the children in the schools. And then they don't just leave them with that. They put like a recycling bin so that they can practice they can practice what they've been taught. So basically, this would help to instill good practices from a very young age. Because right now, we are the youths. They are upcoming. Imagine if we knew what we are talking about now, if we knew it, say, 10 years ago, or when we were younger, right? It would have made a huge difference. We would have been way, we would have been way, able to address the current challenges that we are facing, right? But this is also a good time too. The second best time is today, right? I see a lot of young people wanting to start NGOs, wanting to, become founders and all of that. It's good, it's great, right? But there's also a part of collaboration where you don't necessarily have to start anything. You can collaborate with already existing NGOs or already existing stakeholders to leverage the resources that they have, right? And knowledge that they have for a more significant impact. I think that's very, very important. I would really like to say that, you don't have to start an NGO to make a difference. You can join, RecycleUp Nigeria, IDEF, you can do SDSN, and you will still make a difference. So you don't necessarily have to start one to start an NGO to be able to make a difference, right? And in so doing, you are part of a you're part of a structured platform that can, bolster you when you develop engaging campaigns to encourage responsible waste disposal or recycling, basically using your influence to change societal attitudes, because ultimately waste management is not just a technology problem. So many times we view it as a technology problem. It's not. It's actually a behavioral problem, right? When people change their behavior and there is technology and infrastructure to support it, right, things would change. If you look at the global north, for example, say, for example, now the UK, right, you walk down the street, you see infrastructure everywhere, right? You see the litter bin, you see the recycling bin and all of that. There is no reason why, because people will even look at you in a different way. You now see the litter, you now drop it somewhere else. People will look at you and people are even more inclined to talk about it. Again, there's also community police. When you are littering and the community police just happens to pass by, you are definitely going to sleep in prison, right? So these are the things that we need to inculcate. It's a multifaceted problem. So we need to inculcate several things. But I believe that behavior is the root of it, right? When people change, behavior is very difficult to change. But when people are able to change their habits, from their actions, the first step is actions, right? Then from action, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days becomes a habit. And then from habit, it switches to behavior. So if you're able to change that, right, you're able to also make a difference. So if anyone can develop an app or an innovation that knows how to tackle the behavioral change of people, particularly when it comes to waste management, then I believe that person has just hit a gold mine, because it will not only transcend from waste management, it will also transcend to, other areas as well, because people buy based on behavior. There's something called behavioral buying, right? Buy-in. So if people are able to change their behavior, you have either within marketing or whatnot, you've won a customer, a permanent customer, right? Because people are not necessarily impulsive buyers, but people are sentimental when it comes to buying. They're not necessarily buying because the product is good, or you can find, if they have to choose between two, they'll rather pick something that they are sentimental toward, right? So that behavioral buy-in is what we need to transfer into waste management, so that people are able to, have a total buy-in of what they should be doing and what they shouldn't, and it's very important, because when you approach certain people, you tell them to sort their waste, they'll be like, so I will sit down and sort my waste. And how much are you going to give me for 1 kg? Oh, okay, 17 naira per kg. Bear it in mind that 1 kg is 37 bottles, 37 PET bottles, right? So they will have to drink 1 bottle per day in 37 days to be able to earn 15 naira. And what I tell them, based on that's the perception that some people have, but what I tell them based on my understanding about recycling, which is, I think this is really critical that we grab it, right, is one, it's in 3 perspectives. One, the plastics, the aluminum cans, cartons, and all of that is currently being bought in Nigeria. There is no tax for it, right? In countries such as the UK, the US, when you buy bottled water, right, you are not buying based on its bottled water. You are buying based on the fact that you're using plastic, right? So you are paying a premium. But the moment you return the plastic, you get your money back. The moment you recycle your plastic, you get your money back. This is done in Finland. This is done in Germany, right? There's a tax on using plastic. So the moment you return it, you get your money back, and an extra too as well, actually. So what people don't know that, okay, I'm buying water that is supposed to be, say, 100 naira. I'm now buying it for 1,000 naira. you buy it quite all right because you already know that that's the price. That's how much they are selling it abroad. You buy it. But if you want to get your money back, you would have to recycle the plastic. That's one. For Nigeria does not have that kind of scheme. You buy bottled water at the price. They are not charging you any tax on it. No single-use plastic tax on it. So now you bought water for 100 naira, right? And they are telling you that instead of you putting it in your trash bag, which would increase the cost of the waste that you'll be paying for, sort it out, right? So that the one that the waste operator will pick will be less, so that you don't have to pay. If you are going to pay 5,000 naira to dispose your waste, you probably pay like 2,000 naira. Then that plastics that you have sorted, they will still give you money off it. They're not saying that, oh, they will collect it too and not give you any money from the recyclables that you sorted. They're telling you that, okay, bad as a bad, we will still give you something for sorting your waste. So you are winning on two ends, mind you. You are winning on the fact that you have sorted your waste is reduced. So instead of paying 5,000 naira for your waste disposal, you are now paying 2,000 naira. Then on the other hand, with the recycling, instead of paying the aggregate and paying 5,000, you have sorted it. So they are going to come pick it up for you, and they're still going to give you something for that. That is the logic behind it that so many people don't understand. So if you intend to go into recycling, this is how you need to explain this. But then again, it boils back down to the infrastructure, right? So many people are dumping their waste inappropriately. They don't pay for waste. They don't care how their waste is being disposed and all of that. But the truth is that access to electricity is just as important as access to waste services. It's not a luxury. It's a right. Every citizen is entitled to proper access to waste management service. Now, if you pay for electricity as a public utility, you must pay for waste service. It's not for free. The government is not supposed to subsidize. The government is not supposed to do any of such. The way you pay for electricity, the way you pay for water, is the way you pay for waste. But so many people do not understand. And this is where it's in fact in our policies. It's in our but because enforcement is weak, that's why we're having this issue. And for me, I would rather have proper access to waste management service than have if I have to pick between proper access to waste management service and access to electricity, I think I would rather go for waste management, because waste management is very important. Remember what happened during COVID. Remember what happens when there's a public health outbreak, right? So it is not an option. It is a priority. A lot of people fall sick because of the way that they dispose their waste. There's a research that says that for every 1 naira invested in waste management, right, 5 naira is saved on health issues, education, right, and even public, like having to take care of the environment, like having to ensure things don't go awry, right? So if there is proper investment into waste management, not just by the government, but by us as individuals using the service, right, then things will get better. And this is also our opportunity as young people, because when we provide this, there's a lacuna here. When we provide the services, we'll get paid for it, right? We'll get paid for it. And also leveraging data, very important. We are young people. We thrive on data. We love to make influence from data and all of that, right? a lot of the sectors in Nigeria, they do not have data, and management is not exempted, right? But at Montana Recycling, what we are currently doing is using data to inform, waste management issues, waste generation and disposal patterns. That has never happened in the entire history of waste management in Oyo State. But that's what we are doing. And we're using that data to inform and to tailor solutions for our local needs within the state, because that's the only way that we can do it. So recycling and waste management, I know that they are complex issues, but we as young people, we have the energy, we have the creativity, we have the determination to make a positive impact. It's not even a given. We can do it. We can do it. We have to. So by actively engaging as young people, we can contribute significantly to, improving waste management practices in across the country, whether in Kano, whether in Enugu, wherever. This is applicable everywhere. So it is left to us to decide, okay, this is what we want to do, this is how we want to do it, this is what we want to come to. And it's from a state of urgency. We cannot say, oh, we'll do it in the next 5 years, or we'll do it in the next 10 years, right? We have to do it now. We have to do it now, right? Because this reality that we'll find ourselves is raining season now. When it starts to rain now, you see all of those plastics will just packed by the drainage, preventing water from moving. Then when it gets into the ocean, microplastics, the fish starts to chew on it. You eat the fish, if you start getting, for women, infertility issues, young people are now having cancer, and it's as a result of these microplastics that, it's not like you can stop eating fish. You can't stop eating fish. It's part of you. In your groundwater, the water that you drink from your bowl, microplastics is there. You can't escape it. So we have to recognize this urgent need for sustainable waste management, right? And use our power as young people to drive innovation, to drive entrepreneurship, right? Because it is very important. I feel like this project, this particular training that you're on, it's not just to charge you but to make you like some sort of beacon. Oh, I left this training and this is what I'm able to do at the end of the day. Okay, I started a recycling business. Okay, I'm now a waste operator. Okay, I'm working towards doing a master's in sustainable waste management. I'm going to take a training in I'm going to take a certification in sustainable waste management. I'm going to implement this within the organization that I work for. I'm going to start a new career in sustainability. All of these things, feed into this. And this is how we create that circular economy, cradle to cradle, from collection, from sorting segregation, to collection, to transportation, to not disposal anymore, but reuse. How do we reuse? What are we turning plastics into? What are we turning our food waste into? How are we using that to champion job creation? How are we using that to support the economic growth within our communities, right? The goal for this program actually is to drive transition towards circular economy, circular economy innovation in Nigeria by 200% in 2026. So with over 250 people on this call, right? I believe that there are some people that would be interested in entrepreneurship. Some people that are here that are very good with mobile app. You can use your digital technology prowess to develop an innovation that helps to push this narrative, helps to push a circular economy innovation. Those are the things that we want to see, right? if we are able to get, say, 20 aspiring entrepreneurs from this training, right, that are doing different things, have a recycling business, or are into waste operator, or they are working in the government to ensure policy is being driven and all of that, it will not just, create quality youths in Nigeria, right? But will also help generate economic value for you and your family, right? And as young people, we have very limited opportunities. At our age, back then, our parents, or their counterparts have built houses, right? It wasn't this hard. Imagine a youth trying to build a house now in Nigeria, when the land is like, 20 million, 50 million, 100 million, on which salary? So in as much as these are the challenges, it also, when we start to solve them, right, it also presents opportunity for us. It helps to raise us up as entrepreneurs. It helps to raise us up, or as entrepreneurs, whether you're working for an organization or whatnot. You get promotion from implementing, from helping the company to adopt sustainable practices. When you change your career into sustainability, you also get a better, opportunity, such as a better pay, right? Because a lot of companies are recruiting, massively for sustainability, for sustainability roles, you get, and they will not just recruit unless you have expertise for it, right? So pretty much it. I believe that young people are, ideal for pushing the sustainable waste management initiative, and we can always do better. Not necessarily just waste to energy, or resource recovery. We can also participate in enabling people, right, to adopt other initiatives that have been implemented, right? So take, for example, we have a mobile app in Oyo State. Lagos has Pakam. We have a mobile app in Oyo State that enables people order, basically schedule their waste, right? And also recycle on the same platform. We're also working on USSD platforms to enable people that do not have access to mobile app to order using their USSD. So you don't have to exactly start something. You can leverage on what has been done to push out the narrative, because the truth is that everybody must be involved, right? Everybody must be involved. And it's super important that take this really serious. So on this note, I would like to take questions. Over to you, Ololade.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Deborah Fadei. And this session is such a thought-provoking one, and I'm glad that you were able to communicate all of this to the youth on board. Thank you so much for your expertise. It is highly commendable. So before we go to the question and answer session, the tracking and evaluation form has been shared in the comments section in the chat box. So please go ahead and fill the form. So we'll be taking about 2 to 3 questions because of time. So if you have any question, please raise your hand, then unmute your mic and speak. Does anyone have any question? Please unmute your mic and ask your question. We have Rashid Bello from Lagos. Please unmute your mic and ask your question. Rashid Bello from Lagos. Okay, I get. Okay, please ask your question.
All right, thank you very much. I was trying to unmute myself, but there was an administrative restriction on that. Thank you so much for the thorough lecture from the beginning to the end, and this one we just concluded from Mrs. Deborah. Thank you very much. My question is, the title of this program is RecycleUp, and you know, there's a clear difference between upcycling and recycling. And I'm a bit in the middle of, okay, what are we doing here exactly? Or is it that we are recycling, basic recycling, which is, getting products from what they are, getting waste products from what they are to even a lesser quality, maybe, because recycling is taking products from, what they are to maybe something that sometimes usually has a bit of impurities in them and so on. So I don't know if you read this book, Cradle to Cradle, it kind of explains this in depth. So my prospect of joining this registering for this is to probably open me to opportunities whereby you can up recycle products rather than, I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Things of whereby at the end product would not be waste, or would the end product, after that product you've recycled also gets to its end of life, what happens to it then? Does it then go to waste? Is this still recyclable? Then the timeline, the life cycle of that product, the ultimate end.
Thank you so much, Rashid Bello, and I'll call on Emmanuel Omogude.
Thank you.
Forgive my pronunciation. Emmanuel Omogude, please ask your question now.
Okay, can I answer the question one after the other? Is it possible?
Okay, yes you can, Ma. Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So I want to believe that the RecycleUp Nigeria program is actually the right name for the project, right? Because again, we are trying to ensure that it is, if we had said circular economy, waste hierarchy, Nigeria, it's not catchy, right? It doesn't communicate this, it doesn't exactly communicate the purpose, right? But when you say RecycleUp, we can talk about every other thing within the training. But you know that one of the things that you are getting is message about recycling, right? But ultimately, this RecycleUp program, if you went through the project background, the concept note, right, that was shared, you realize that the entirety is about circular economy. And when I was reading the goal, I mentioned it. I said is to ensure, drive circular economy innovations by 200% in 2026. I mentioned it. So when you're talking about circular economy, you are talking about everything, including recycling. You're talking about upcycling. You're talking about resource efficiency. You're talking about waste to energy. You're talking about minimization. You're talking about prevention, right? And this is encapsulated in the waste hierarchy. So all that we are saying here, right? If you find an app or you find an innovation that enables people to prevent waste generation in the first place, that's a given. Like, that is so excellent, because for us to actually tackle waste management, we have to be able to prevent first. Do you have to buy that extra bag? Prevent it, right? If you have to buy it, if you have to buy the extra bag, why not buy a cloth bag instead, right? The one that you can reuse, right? Which is pretty much the first stage. if you don't have to buy the bag, can you buy a smaller one or buy do something that would help you minimize, basically reducing the quantity of whatever is going to be toxic to the environment, right? And these things arise from, you can do it through product design. When I was in 200 level, that was about 2009 at the University of Ibadan. I remember I sat in one of my chemistry classes and my lecturer was talking about starch, and something popped into my head. This starch remnant I used to see, because I had this friend that her mom used to make something from starch. I can't quite remember what, but she used to have like loads and loads of, remnant that she would discard. It's like, why can't we turn this starch into nylon, right? Instead, because it has almost the same component as nylon. Do you get? It's just that its starch is degradable, even though I didn't follow through. But that is exactly what you mean. I mean by product redesign. Instead of having plastic nylon, all those black nylons, okay, we want to keep food in, right? You can use the starch. And then when it gets into the environment, it's very degradable, right? So those are the things. Then for recycling, right? It's in fact it's the fourth, because you have about 6, 7 in the waste hierarchy. Recycling is the fourth, right? Then you talk about waste to energy. You talk about upcycling. You talk about landfill, which is the least favorable option. Disposal is the least favorable option, right? So these are all the things. Now, your question about difference between recycling and upcycling, right? First and foremost, recycling is collection, sorting, processing, conversion. You convert the waste materials into new ones. What most people practice in please, could you hold on a bit? Okay, don't worry. What most people practice is aggregation, collection, aggregation, collection, aggregation, right? There's a lot more than that. Please, could you hold on for a bit?
Hello, Mrs. Daniel, Mrs. Deborah. Oh.
Please give me 1 minute. I really need to return this call. Yeah.
Okay. Please, the tracking and evaluation form is being shared. Please try as much as possible to fill the form because attendance is compulsory. Also, we'll be taking just 2 questions because we aim to end this session by 11:30. So we'll be taking just two more questions after this. Thank you. Also, a WhatsApp platform was created by someone and it is not approved. So we'll ensure that we get the approved WhatsApp platform to you before the end of tomorrow. While we wait for Mrs. Deborah to join us, I think you should go ahead and ask your questions. So I will call on Farida Aruna. Farida Aruna, are you there? Please unmute your mic and go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah. Yes. For the lecture.
Hello, can you hear me?
It was hello.
Yes. So sorry.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so just to quickly round off, so the end product of, or the end result of recycling is typically a different product from the original waste. So take, for example, plastic bottles being recycled into clothing and containers, or even I think Primark is recycling plastics into clothes to wear, right? For upcycling is pretty much like a creative and innovative process. So you take the waste material like a tire and then you build around it. So basically transforming into, products of higher value or functionality without having to break them completely, as in the case of recycling. So it's like repurposing or enhancing the original material, right? Again, when it comes to resource efficiency, upcycling is more energy or resource efficient than recycling, because the power that you use to convert something from an old to another one to give it a new life is more. But with upcycling, the energy or the resource is less, right? Take for example now with tire. If I'm to process tire into maybe slippers, I have to break it down completely, right? But if I'm to turn tires into furniture, I just have to wrap around it. Do you get? So that's the difference. But both are really, they have their own application. They all contribute to waste reduction and environmental sustainability. The both approaches are actually essential. You cannot say one is more preferable than the other, right? It depends on the product or the material that is being used, right? You cannot upcycle plastic now. You cannot upcycle PET. Even though I see some people, they'll cut PET, they used to do toothpaste holder, all of that. Won't you throw it away? And by the time you are throwing it away, right, it's not useful to the person that would essentially convert it anymore. So that actually becomes waste. So again, we need to reconsider how we upcycle and recycle. It's very important, right? Some people, they want to drink, when they finish drinking PET bottle, maybe Coca-Cola, the gala nylon, they'll fix it inside. There is no way that can be recycled except you bring out that gala nylon. If not, it becomes waste to the person that has collected the product. So these are the things we need to consider.
Thank you very much. So I would like to call on Farida Aruna. Please ask your question now and ensure it is brief, very brief. Thank you. Farida Aruna.
Okay. Thank you very much for the lectures, Ms. Deborah. I have two questions. First of, hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. I wanted to ask, the RecycleUp Nigeria, is it a governmental initiative or non-governmental? Why?
Please ask questions related to this session, please. Miss Farida. Okay, I'll call on Oyo Esther Amali. Please ask your question and be very brief. Okay. Esther Amali.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you very much for the class. And it isn't a question, actually. The assessment link you said you dropped, I don't know I've not been able to access it. I can't even see it on the chat group, and then my chat is disabled. I don't know if it's just me or you, or it's a general thing. So I'm just trying to call your attention to it. If there's a way you can upload the link, so I can access it and fill in my attendance for today. Thank you.
Okay, the evaluation form is being reposted. It's been reposted, so please you can try and fill again. Okay. One more person. Adinga Thomas from Kaduna State. Please ask your question. Adinga Thomas, are you there? Adinga Thomas, are you there? Okay, let me move on to the next person. Comfort Solomon, are you there to ask your question?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Please, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay.
Clearly.
All right. Okay. Thank you. I will. Thank you so much for this very insightful lecture. It's really impactful. My question is, she made mention of leveraging data and that youth should really look into it. So I want her to elaborate on that leveraging data that youth need to look on.
Mrs. Deborah.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much for the question. So, I believe you are aware of digital technologies. Are you? The term digital technologies. Hello?
Miss Comfort.
Okay, yes, I am. I was trying to unmute myself. Yes, I am.
Okay. So, digital technologies, take for example, social media, coding and programming, data analytics and AI, content creation, podcasting, mobile development, blockchain and cryptocurrency, cyber security, IoT, VR, augmented reality, gaming, community building, online communities, of course, right? All of these digital technologies, they are currently being used in different sectors now, right? They're currently being used. Python, Java, Tableau, all of these things, machine learning, all of these things are currently being used in different sectors. So what's stopping us from using it? And it's successful there. What's stopping us from using it in waste management, right? Right now, if not for Zoom, we'll be gathered in a place physically and probably be talking, right? But look at how Zoom has been able to bring everybody together from different areas, different communities across Nigeria, and even outside of Nigeria, right? Bring us onto the same platform to talk about what? Waste management. Just talking about it is a solution. I hope you guys are aware. Talking about me being able to share my expertise, what I know, my experience, talking about it is probably gingering 1 or 2 persons on how to start a recycling business, or what to do, or what to do about their next, what career to do next, right? To help this situation that we found ourselves. So if you leverage with what Motainai Recycling is doing, right? We are leveraging most of these things I've mentioned. We're leveraging social media, to talk about it. We are leveraging Zoom to talk to different stakeholders, our investors, community, everything. We are also leveraging Python, Java, because we have people on the team too that are coding and programming, right? For our mobile app, for different engagement, because we have a mobile app, for different engagement that would essentially help, waste management better, right? in leveraging data and technology, take for example, with GIS that we use, it tells us, GIS is like some sort of spatial modeling, like it takes like Google Map, so to speak. So you can see, with that information, you can see which area is attended to and which area still has waste, right? You can see what exactly is happening within that area, if that area has been captured or if that area needs to be captured. Then you can now use the GIS to divide, to decentralize the service, the waste service, so that it is prompt, it is efficient, right? When the truck is going from one place to another, you know where the truck is at. That's IoT. You know where the truck is at. You know where that truck has broken down. You can optimize fuel, right? You can optimize fuel, rather. You can optimize fuel from one place to another. You can estimate the quantity of fuel needed for a particular journey. You can also extrapolate and say, okay, this person is coming from, take for example, Akinyele local government. Where is the best dump sites to use that will cut costs, as opposed to going to the other end of the state to go and dump the waste. So these are the things that we currently use. That kind of how we use data to, inform our decisions, right? The localized infrastructure that I spoke about, the OMITT 2.0 smart recycling, this solution arose from our data, right? Because we realized that all of these areas for Ibadan metropolis, is characterized by water channels in low-income communities, different. If you go to Bere or, all these slum communities, you realize that they have at least one stream or one water channel around. But guess what? That's where they'll go and pour their waste. But having to situate a localized waste infrastructure in these areas, right, and also back it up with enforcement, enables them to stop dumping into the water channels, but use the waste being provided, and also dissuade them from, leaving their waste on the median. You get? So, like, that's how you can use data to cover, and data will tell you what you need to do next. It's very important, because even when you want to get investment, you need to show, right? Currently, it's not like we're at 100% coverage at Oyo State. We are not, but at least the data tells us where we are lagging behind and how we can improve, what we need to do to improve. That's how you can leverage data, and data will inform you the kind of technology to use to be able to implement this. So I want to use this as a medium to also reach out to people, all of us gathered here, the change makers gathered here. If you can learn at least one digital technology skill to up your investment into recycling or waste management, that would be great. You can do Tableau, right? You can do GIS. We are currently running a program for GIS training as in Oyo State, where we will be training about 100 to 200 youths on GIS, right? And we would employ them. So what they will be doing essentially is to be doing property tagging. Because another thing for waste management is that if you don't know where to deliver the service to, right, you will not be able to pick, you will not be able to bill appropriately, and you'll not be able to collect your money. So this is what data actually does. Do you get? So this is so interesting. I'm so pumped, I'm so chuffed that we have the company that I work for, Montana Recycling, is able to, use this information that has never occurred in the history of Oyo State to generate actionable solutions. It's very important.
Yeah.
And this is what data can give you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Deborah Fadeyi. And we're about to bring this session to a close. So thank you so much for this session. It's been an insightful one. as we conclude this event, let's try to reflect on some of the key highlights that was mentioned earlier. And our event today was not just about sharing knowledge, as Mr. Emmanuel Ololuwoyo earlier mentioned. He said it's about driving a major change. So our journey doesn't end here. So I invite each and every one of you to actively take action, engage in our community, and also come up with actionable plan that can be implemented locally. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's also be reminded that tomorrow's session holds at the same time, 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and attendance is compulsory for each and every one of you. The tracking and evaluation form has been shared earlier. You can still check. If you're trying to fill the form and it's not working, please try again, as we'll resend the evaluation form again to you. Once again, thank you so much, Mrs. Deborah. Thank you so much for this wonderful rendition, and we really appreciate you for taking out your time to honor our invitation. And I'm sure a lot of you here, a lot of you participants have gained one or two, in fact, a lot of things from everything she has mentioned. And please do well to follow her on social media platforms. If you have any other question, you can as well ask her, especially on LinkedIn. I'm sure you'll be able to attend to all of those questions, ma. Thank you so much, Mrs. Deborah.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so with that, I officially close today's event. Please stay engaged with us as we look forward to seeing you tomorrow, same time, and ensure to use the same link for tomorrow's event. Thank you so much and have a lovely day. Bye.